We're getting very close to the end of the day, and we're getting very close to seeing who qualifies and who's going to go down to the fifth place qualifier. Crossed fingers option. I want to thank you guys for joining me today on the broadcast. I know there's a lot of other options, but the fact that you guys chose me is pretty cool. So thank you for that. But for now, spawning the top right corner of the map, it's your Red Terran. You guys really got to vote for him. There's 47 of you rooting for him in chat with a 68%. It is Bomber. And of course, exclamation mark vote for Czech if you're rooting for this guy, because in the top left with a 23 amount of votes and 32%, whoa, 23, 32, it is the Blue Zerg player formerly of Western Wolves, Czech. But thank you guys for joining us so far. There might be 1 or 2 matches after this. I'm really not sure how those work or how long we cast into, but WCS mainstream will at the very minimum, bare minimum, be covering what's left. I'm going to try my best to ascertain permission to continue with the cast, as I want to see which players do all qualify for WCS, so I know personally who I can root for. There's not even the hipster element. Like, I don't even care. Whoa, hang on. I'll get hyped up in a second. Why did Bomber build a supply depot over there? I mean, you only really do this if you're hoping to get faster units out and faster buildings. A 12 racks comes down out of Bomber, and this is an odd thing to see because you expect this to be paired with a gas if it's going to be fast rapers, or if you're going to velo it up, you know, you put down the second barracks over there. But Bomber, okay, nothing too crazy out of this. This just leaves his opening scary to look at from the observing point of view. For Czech, of course, he could just flood on in and race towards the main lings if he was already going for a cheesy pool or something, but not the case for this Zerg player. A stand-up guy and a macro player, to say the least. But faster Marines out. This may get an Overlord kill if Czech isn't too careful with this. Bomber could just kind of stutter step around. This is going to allow for a little bit of a quicker expansion, I guess. I don't know. This is a weird way to do this, but it's nothing like it's crazy out of the ordinary. I just don't like the supply depot being where it is. Is going to try desperately to kill the Overlord. I think if he stutter steps correctly, instead of leaving the Marine to auto attack, he should be able to get the Overlord. It's going to be close though as it gets towards the edge. There's some dead space he can hide in over here. And it looks like, no, not quite going to be able to get the Overlord. Wasn't quite sure. It was a little bit of an on-timing thing to see, but it should be able to get away just barely. And as we see, 1 bar of health, if that. So a supply depot, second supply depot is going to go down over here. This is what I was talking about being a little bit weird. Like, I wanted to see the depot more like over there. It's the second one. The first one comes here. But you do this to save yourself, like, an extra, I think it's, someone did the math for me one time. They said it's like either 10 or 15 resources. It's really not a lot, but it's the difference of getting your command center up like a second earlier, I suppose. But for Czech on Habitation Station, guys, let's talk about this real quick. Everyone's seen the map at this point. I'm not going to pretend like you haven't, but the gold bases are a big point of contestation. And you know, the reason for this isn't even so much that it's the gold base, but it's the base next to where the most map control comes down. Having this watchtower, being able to siege down here in the middle, having siege tanks shell away, or having, I guess, roaches shoot up, or like, they probably don't have range for that. I take that back. But still, like, maintaining control in the middle part of the map will really dictate whether you can afford to take that gold base or not. Bunker is going to come down here for Bomber. And he's going to try and play this out kind of safe. Link's going to come across the map to scout a little bit, but of course they're going to just scout what can be, quite frankly, expected. That Overlord did try and come back in, but Bomber says, nope. Not unless you want a taste of my Marine. So this guy is on patrol right now, just trying to catch that Overlord if he comes back. A couple Links hoping to deny the command center coming down, but of course we all know the command center came down so absurdly early that it's already finished and already in orbital. Back enough towards the middle of the map. Some Lings just kind of chilling. Again, this watchtower is going to play a rather large factor in this game. Not only is it providing scouting information, which is cool, but I mean, it's just so much vision that covers the middle of the map, and to get around this isn't problematic. You go south, you take these ramps, you go through these bases, and surprise, surprise, you're your opponent's third. But again, you never want to have to do that. That's so much extra time it takes to not just go straight across the map. Sorry about that, guys. Just need to take another drink of water. This has been a rather taxing day here on casting. Creep has begun to get spread here for Czech, and roaches are coming out in a moment's time. Doesn't have that quick lair and doesn't have all the gases taken, so we're not going to see really fast mutilisks or anything like that. The Roaches here in the middle of they're kind of interesting to me. Roaches kind of perform this very strange mid-game function where they're really good at dealing with early pushes. If there's no stim pack associated, they can actually deal with bio, and if there's just Hellions, Roaches of course kill them quite easily. But Bomber's not gone for Hellions, he's not gone for any sort of map control, he's trying to hide the fact that he's getting a ton of units out early. Sacrificing of course the tech labs, or not the tech labs, the reactors rather, to get more Marines out sooner. I believe I just missed first blood and I looked right at it, didn't I? Okay, well, pretend the next one. Pretend the next one, guys. I'll not screw this up. Fingers crossed. Delirium sets in. But Bomber's coming out with a lot of Marines. There's no stim pack, and that's okay, because he's just relying on the combat shells to give him enough health to bully through whatever the heck Czech has to defend with. That 10 extra health really does come into effect quite nicely, especially against Roaches. It's that extra volley you need from like a small amount of Roaches to kill a Marine. It's the extra Baneling that's required to kill them. The Zerglings, of course, have to collide a little bit more effectively, but after seeing those Roaches, he's in full defensive mode. We got a lot. Oh god, this is a Roach Bane bust. I didn't even see this. I wasn't paying attention. What am I doing? Rifkin, Roaches, you're talking about them in the wrong way. It's a Roach Baneling bust, guys, and unfortunately for Bomber, he didn't quite have those bunkers up in time initially. Hellions are going to scout the Roaches, but it's not the Roaches they have to worry about. Oh my god, it's the Banelings, and that's a lot of them. Drones were cut. No third base. This is when you guys call the all-in card. And don't play poker with Czech, guys, because those aren't the fun ones to deal with. Marines are put into the bunkers, and a lot of the Banelings are used up here initially. They will collide on the Widowmine, so the Widowmine will not get those kills off. But the Banelings are taken out, and Bomber will be able to hold this push. Roaches don't stand a chance against this many Marines, much less if they're still in the bunkers. Re-establishing the wall needs to be a priority. Bomber needs to get another bunker down, force those Banelings to be used up to chew into this initial wall rather than the bunkers in the back, because these bunkers are what keep the Roaches out. There is a Widowmine here, so colliding into this could be problematic. If Czech puts the Banelings on the front lines, a couple Lings need to be, he needs to be in here first with those Zerglings. But oh, the Widowmine hit was so good! Bomber's Widowmine hit just saved the day. But of course that's not it, and Czech's not done. More Banelings, more Zerglings are rallying across the map. There's even a drone with this because why not? Czech sends it back home. No third base being taken, but the damage here on the front lines has been somewhat scary. Not somewhat scary, very scary to deal with. The Widowmine was unfortunately taken out with that heroic attack, but Czech, so many more Banelings coming in. I don't know if there's enough bunkers, and there's not a new wall off. Bomber is going to be in for some trouble. He's going to be in for some hurt. Czech is relentless with this attack. He wants the Challenger League, guys. He can taste it. He's so close. Banelings go off between both of those bunkers. SCVs are pulled into this, but the SCVs are going to get collided on with the Banelings if not careful. Marines coming in from the main are going to try and hold this, but with these two bunkers still standing, Czech is forced out of the base once again, and Bomber still holds. This time, Stimpak is finishing up, something he has not had for these initial onslaughts. We've got an armory coming up in a moment's time, so perhaps, well, no Hellbats. What the? Okay. Just to advance his tech. I was kind of thinking maybe Hellbats we brought in out of desperation to spend those resources to get more units available, but Stim does go down this time as the focus fire needs to go down on the Banelings as he retreats past the bunkers. There's just not enough left here from Czech. These Roaches are all so close to dead. One last Baneling gets popped off on absolutely nothing. It looks like Bomber will not only hold, but be able to counterattack, and Czech has nothing left at home. 11 army supply, mostly in what is a Roach and a couple of Queens. How many SCVs died throughout this attack? 6 in total! Less than 10 workers died for how many Banelings? How many Roaches? Oh my god, and that's 48 Banelings, not even counting the ones that self-detonated. So 48 Banelings died, a lot of Roaches as well, and Czech is not in a good spot this game, guys. To go for the all-in was a bold move, but it did not pay off. 4 medevacs fully loaded heading towards the main. There's no spine crawlers. There's a new round of drones that are being transferred down, but who needs those? You'll need army units. 22 Zerglings are on the way, but the time it's going to take them to hatch into the Banelings might be a little too long. Oh my god, Bomber's looking to be so good right now, guys. This attack should get some severe damage done. Banelings are going to try and collide, but Bomber can pick up if he needs to. Dropping 1 Marine at a time wouldn't be a terrible thing to do, but of course you never want to sacrifice units if you don't have to, so it drags all the medevacs away and can go down towards that third, which Czech is just not prepared to deal with. Bomber, of course, couldn't split in the main was the problem. Now that he's fighting in a wide open engagement area, splitting won't be a problem. But okay. leading with losses of like twice that of his opponent. Bomber takes a gold base. If he wasn't already ahead, this is certainly going to garner him that freedom, or the freedom that he needs. Sorry. A couple queens going to go down here, unfortunately, for free, and a small drop towards the main is going to draw the attention of Czech away for a moment's time, while Bomber decides to try and push. Banelings and Zerglings are forced to be left at the third, leaving nothing to really clean up what's in the main. A couple of Zerglings will finally just barely clean this up. Splitting his forces, though, another drop. Two of them, in fact, unloaded fully towards the main. A small amount of Marines and Marauders. This is awkward. I think they were rallying inside the dropship and didn't quite listen. Banelings coming up in full, but this opens the third base. Now Bomber double dropping here as well. Multitasking is key in TVZ, and looks like I can rhyme. That's cool. Zerglings are going to be what tries to come into this, but Zerglings will simply not cut it. Not with no Banelings behind this. He's got a couple of Roaches, and double negatives are my forte. Dropping again in the main once again with a couple small amount of Marauders. A couple more kills will go down, but the Baneling does before centrifugal hooks will fall. Now with slow Banelings, Czech has no way to move across the map. He's got no way to engage off of creep. You can barely engage on creep as is with slow Banelings, but with slow Banelings off of creep, not going to happen. Bomber is still relentlessly dropping all over the place, maintaining his lead in this game. And of course, let's not forget that gold base. Look at that income, guys, out of Bomber. So good. Both players on 3 bases still, though, and Bombers actually caused a lot more structural damage than worker damage. Only 2 workers have died, despite what is like 7 different drops at this point. But lots of army has died. More Banelings are going to go down before the end of this. Or maybe not, actually. I thought he was going to focus them down. Yeah. So not bad out of Bomber. Alright, his drops are done, but the damage has been dealt. Last Marauder heroically trying to kill a queen, but that's not going to happen. Another command center will be finished up in a moment's time to further increase his lead in this. But so many units are rallied behind this, and this is kind of that awkward choke. Like, what can Czech do at this point? He's got 1,400 resources, but what do you make? 50 Zerglings with 3 macro hatcheries? That's not going to cut it. Not against Bomber. Drops still going off of the main. Man, I don't know where or how or why Czech is going to deal with this. Some static D might be in order. Banelings get denied. 1 Marauder goes down. Of course, we're going to drop these units out to trade them out. 1 Marine, 1 Marauder is better than 1 Baneling. So, actually effectively trading out here in the top left. Double Medivacs. Pushing forward into a lot of Roaches. Bomber's drops are starting to become less and less effective because Czech has finally amassed an army. Bomber does have this massive lead, and if you could force Czech to come fight him over here on his home turf where all the bunkers are down, he'd be in a really good spot, but just going to continue with the harass. Because Czech's had to invest so much into his ground forces, that Spire never really got much done. In fact, did he even make a Spire? No! No Spire was ever even made, so stuck with Banelings and Zerglings with almost no upgrades, 1/1 or each. Defensive engagement is what Bomber's going to get, and the Banelings are going to be wasted on the bunkers, and I emphasize wasted. Roaches are going to try and come in from behind, but Roaches against stimmed units are not the best things in the world. 2 drops are going off behind this, 1 in the main. Sorry, I guess towards the natural, 1 towards the third that Bomber's not currently microing because he's dealing with this attack. But the Roaches, like I said, they stand no chance versus 2 Marines with stim, much less the Marauders. Third base is getting absolutely gutted, and the drop in the main is going to kill another queen. This looks like it could be game. It is going to be game. Guys, congratulate Bomber as he qualifies for WCS America Challenger League Season 1 of 2014.